we are back live from GameSpot stage show here at E3 2014. And these two guys to my left, if you know anything about Halo, you know anything about 343 Industries, you recognize Dan Ayoub and Frank O'Connor. So excited to have you gentlemen up here on stage, especially after you're showing at yesterday's Microsoft press conference. Welcome.
Thanks. No, great to be here.
Saw a lot of Halo stuff, and we're going to talk through all of it today during our live demo. We got Master Chief Collection, we got Nightfall, we got Halo 5 Guardians, and the beta. Dan, where should we start? I'm a little overwhelmed.
All right, well, why don't we start with the collection?
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I mean, digging in. So, yeah, obviously yesterday we were really thrilled to finally be able to announce this thing we've been working on. So the Master Chief Collection is all 4 Master Chief games. So Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4 on one disc with one interface. So you can move through them however you want. We've unlocked all the chapters at the beginning, so you can hop through it however you want. Now, if you want to jump in and play all through 1, all through 2, etc., you absolutely can. But the interface lets you hop around however you want. And it also lets us create some playlists, which is another thing I'm really excited about, like play all the Warthog missions, all the tank missions, stuff like that.
And if I know anything about you guys and the way you like to curate things, I'm imagining some sort of developer-suggested playlists maybe coming down the pipe at some point.
Good chance.
A little bit, but we're also, I mean, we've got 10 years of fan feedback to sort of dig into as well. So we, as Sergeant Johnson would say, we know what the ladies like. So.
And I got to say, yeah, watching, sort of navigating around and seeing the way that's structured, it just strikes me as such a great way to sort of approach these games with like that archival mentality almost, which is something that you don't really see a lot in this industry, is how are these games being preserved? How are people able to continue to play these games long after they've come out?
Yeah, I think that's a great perspective, and that's the perspective we really attacked it with from a team, right? We wanted to make something magical, something special, and I mean, really swapping a bunch of discs out of a box didn't feel magical and special to us. So.
Well, speaking of, I am now having a flashback to that magical moment
when
a second weapon came up on screen, and then bam, those SMGs. So we're kicking off Halo 2 here, and now just to clarify, you guys did an awesome job on Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary Edition, or just Anniversary, and is Halo 2 getting that full treatment?
Yeah, and you just saw it right now. So we just switched to classic mode. So, that was a big part of it that, people really enjoyed, and we wanted to keep that. So any point during the game, you hit that back button, and the graphics will switch to how they were 10 years ago. As you notice now, we got more power to work with the Xbox One. There's no delay. Remember, it used to, fade in and fade out, and now it's just instantaneous.
That was really quick. Yeah, and the thing that struck me about that was, obviously the lighting effects and the detail in the environments is striking when you compare it to what it was 10 years ago. But at the same time, that those geometric designs, the lines of those environments, that artistic design, seeing the through line of that stuff, it made me certainly appreciate what a great job you guys did the first time around.
Yeah, I mean, a testament to what Bungie built in the first place. Really strong character designs, really good aesthetic, and it's just been kind of a pleasure to go in and give it a little bit of next-gen polish. And actually, Halo 3 and Halo 4 both show up really well at 1080p at 60 frames a second. And there's a lot more on screen than you think. Like, it made a really big difference.
So what was one of the biggest challenges, or was there any sort of tough points, something you guys really got stuck on, or had to work extra hard at to really make it shine?
How long have we got for this segment?
Let me tell you about the past 2 years of my life.
Honestly, I mean, I think two things, some of which are they're somewhat linked. First of all was that interface that we were talking about, right? Because there was so much content when we dug into it, right? These 4 games, over 100 multiplayer maps, right? Everything running on their original engines. It's like, how do you bring this together in a way that it's able to, the player can understand it, it's easy to get through, and it just feels special. And really, I mean, we're still working at it, right? I mean, really nailing that interface, that UI, has been a massive task. But it was funny when we started talking about it at a conceptual level, it was one thing. And as we started showing it to people, and people really saw how powerful a tool we were putting in the hands of the player with that interface, everything just clicked.
Very cool. Now, that was a glimpse of Halo 2, of course. Halo CE Anniversary. Have you guys basically just taken your work there? You haven't had to do a lot more on it? Or to kick it up to the Xbox One level, have you gone back and put some more stuff in there?
It's a huge technological challenge. I mean, it's not like you're just simply recompiling it for Intel architecture from PowerPC. So there's a lot of work goes into even the simplest parts of it. But I think to Dan's point, it's the way that we sort of connected all the pieces together that was probably the biggest challenge, both in terms of the interface and the extra content that's in there. There's 6 remade maps from Certain Affinity in a completely new mode. There's the Halo Digital series, and there's the new Blur cinematics in Halo 2 Anniversary. There's a ton of new stuff as well.
So you got the cinematics, got the updated treatment in Halo 2 as well?
Yeah, the entirety of the cinematics being redone by Blur. And yeah, they already looks like...
Those are the guys you used for Halo 4, right?
We used Blur. We used for Halo Wars, which
Halo Wars.
People loved the CG cinematics.
Also incredible, yeah.
And the original cinematics are still there. Press the back button and you'll switch between the two.
Because
we recorded all the audio with Skywalker Orchestra.
Yep. So the same. So when you hit it, so we recreated all the re-recorded all the audio, all the weapon sounds, and that transitions too. So you go back, it sounds like it did 10 years ago. You hit it, and you've got new weapon effects, new audio. We've re-recorded with the Skywalker Orchestra. I mean, yeah, it's mind-blowing.
And I can't believe you guys are going to have to do it all again when you put it into virtual reality in 5 years. All right. Honestly, I want to talk a little bit about multiplayer before we move on to some more Halo news, because you guys really talked about a lot of stuff yesterday. But multiplayer, over 100 maps?
Over 100 multiplayer maps. So quite literally, any map that is ever shipped for Halo 1, 2, 3, or 4 is in this game, and they run on their original multiplayer engine. So
how are you even going to make that work, man? That's so
so if you launch a Halo 3 map,
yep,
it's going to run on the Halo 3 engine. You launch a 4 map, it's going to run on the Halo 4 engine. So they all run on their original engines as well. And as Frank alluded to before, in addition to all of that, we worked with Certain Affinity and created 6 we chose 6 iconic Halo 2 multiplayer maps and recreated those on a more modern engine. So yeah, it is a massive multiplayer collection.
And is this one of them? We see Ascension here.
This is a perfect example.
Oh god, it's like I get to watching this happen, and like it's almost like that sense memory. I don't even know that I have it, but all of a sudden I'm like, you should go this way.
Yeah,
yes, and like I'm like, hold down X to pick up the weapon while you walk over that spot. Just don't even break spot. You know, like. Oh, so good. So many memories. And I have no idea how you're going to manage to shift through all the people who want to play all their favorite maps from a choices of 100.
To Dan's point, that was one of the challenges, but I think there's a couple of things working in our favor. One is obvious. Matchmaking and democracy are going to decide what people want, but we have full support for custom games. And one of the things you don't really think about, because we're 2 generations later, the Xbox One just has a lot more tools for connecting players and friends with each other socially, alerts and notifications and stuff. So it's not going to be hard to find your game of choice, and it's going to be fairly trivial for sort of, you remember LAN parties with Halo 1, you're going to be able to recreate a little bit just by manually getting together with your friends using the tools the Xbox One gives you for that stuff.
Excellent. One more before we move on to some other Halo stuff. That ranking system from Halo 2 was not a continually gain rank type system. It wasn't the more you play, the more XP you get, you level up. You could lose rank, and that created some moments that I'm not proud of in my household, as well as some that I am proud of when I gain one. But how are you guys doing the ranking system? Is it sort of more in the recent vein of Halo 4?
So yeah, the ranking system, we're getting a lot of questions about that, obviously, right? Because that was pretty awesome. We're going to be talking more about how we're attacking the ranking system as we get a little farther down the line.
Fair enough. All right, so that's Halo, the Master Chief Collection, slated to come out this year?
November 11th.
November 11th.
Almost exactly 10 years.
I'm going to have to play all those new games that are coming out in October really quickly then. But you guys also have other Halo projects in the works. One of them was Nightfall, which we talked about yesterday, an original content, original TV series, not the Spielberg one, but a different one.
This is in some ways kind of the spiritual successor to Forward Unto Dawn.
Yeah.
It's happening at a bigger scale. We're working with Ridley Scott and Sergio Mimica-Gazan. I actually just got back from one of the shoots, and I'm going back out there again next week. We built some life-size Halo things, and it was amazing to be in them and around them. and we have an amazing cast. And I think it's a logical evolution of what we did in Forward Unto Dawn. And I think fans are going to be impressed at what's up there on the screen. Ridley Scott and his people really know what they're doing. So.
And so, what is the setting of it? Are you telling us stuff about this, or
as you saw in the trailer that we showed at the keynote, there was a mention of a guy called Agent Locke. In some ways, this is kind of his origin story. You're going to find out a little bit about his background. It's not essential information for going into Halo 5, but it'll give you some really good background on someone who's going to become a very important character in that.
Now, speaking of Halo 5, of course, we got that cryptic giant sandbird thing last year in the dramatic Master Chief hood reveal. This year, not so much showing Guardian stuff as showing that Spartan. What's his name?
Agent Locke.
Agent Locke.
In that time frame, yes.
In that time frame. Oh man, you are treading on some serious tips of icebergs here, Frank. I don't know how you do it.
Perfect sense, and I think. To your point, we didn't really focus on Halo 5 Guardians at our keynote, but the good news is you'll be able to play it this year in the beta. So,
yes, and that beta starts
this year.
Damn it!
This year.
I was trying to.
It'll be late this year.
All right, so Halo 5 Guardians beta later this year, and of course, with that will come a lot more knowledge about Halo 5 Guardians, just because we're going to get some hands on it and stuff like
feedback.
that.
Like we never got the chance to do a beta for Halo 4. The schedule was compressed, and we're going to use this as a way to get real meaningful feedback from players. And it's a small segment of our multiplayer experience. Arena, balanced, equal starts. It's going to be in some ways kind of old school Halo, but you're going to see some new features as well.
Interesting, which of course spins off all these questions about, well, if it's an equal start, what does an unequal start look like? And, having invasion mode flashbacks and all this stuff, but I got to get it under control. You guys can't talk about that stuff now, but I'm very obviously excited to see a lot of Halo momentum. I mean, when 343 Industries was founded, you guys sort of had this mandate to take on the huge universe that is Halo, and a couple projects in, is it great to see so much stuff now continuing to come to fruition?
Yeah, it's been fabulous. I mean, slow and steady, right? We've been slowly growing. We've been trying out some new things, and we've been getting great feedback from the fans and the community. And it's great that they share our passion for what it is we're doing and where we're going.
Well, they're not the only ones, guys. I'm so glad you came on here to talk about Halo, all things Halo. The Master Chief Collection coming out November 11th. Yep. And then Nightfall, do we know when that's going to become available for folks?
You'll be able to watch it the day you buy the game.
The day you buy the game, which 11/11
it's episodic,
for a lot of us.
So, yeah.
All right, very cool. And then Halo 5 Guardians, look forward to beta news later this year.
Absolutely.
Dan, Frank, thanks again for coming on the stage.
You bet, thanks.
Hope the show goes well for you, and I will try not to follow you around and extract more Halo details from you the whole time. All right, folks, we are going to head on over to Sony's booth now. They got a bunch of games on display there, ranging from those really cool little indie titles to the massive AAA ones you saw during the press conference yesterday. We're going to take a look at a few of the AAA ones this time around, and then come back to this stage for Drive Club.